So adding vectors can be really confusing when you're seeing it for the first time. So there were some good questions that I had today from people that I think would be beneficial for everybody for me to go over again. So let's say we have two vectors. So we have a vector A, and then we have another vector B. So the question was, so we know that when we add them together, right, we just have A, and then we start B at the tip of A. And so this is A plus B. And the question was, what happens now if I say we have a vector A and B, instead of having its the back end of it touching A, it's the front end. So what is that? So in other words, what is this vector here? So let's think about what we're really doing. So when we're adding vectors, right, we're saying first we're going to go A, and then we're going to add a vector to it to get to here. What vector are we adding? The vector that we're adding is minus B, right? Because if B is going up in that direction, minus B is going down in that direction. So we see that A minus B is what this vector is. So I hope that makes things a little bit more clear. So remember, if you start at the tip and go to the back, then you have the negative of this vector. Whereas if you're going from the back to the front, then you have the positive, right? Another way to see that is because we have this vector A minus B that we went to first, and then we have this vector B. So remember, when we work out this equation, we say we have A minus B, that's this vector, and then we add B plus B. These two cancel out, so that just equals A, which is this vector. So while this kind of seems a little strange to you because you're not used to kind of seeing math in drawings, or at least you haven't done this in a very long time, once you get used to it, you'll realize like all we're doing is like very, very simple algebra, right? We're just taking, we're just saying, A minus B plus B is equal to A. This is something like if I just gave you that as an equation, if I just wrote this and asked you what that equals, like everybody in this class, could get that right without even thinking. It's just now that you're kind of seeing it in a picture, your mind kind of plays tricks on you sometimes, and it makes you think that this is something that's much more difficult than it really is. And it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you for thinking that, because it's what almost everybody goes through. I remember when I was first learning about vectors, it's a very confusing concept because it's not something that you're used to. And it really almost is your mind playing tricks on you. So if this is hard for you, that's okay. Like this is really hard for everyone. So the best thing to do is to just pound it out and just keep working problem after problem after problem. And you're going to get most of them wrong at first, so you can't just do 3 or 4 problems. You really have to do, 10 or 20 or 30 problems until all of a sudden it's going to click. And then once it clicks, you're really good to go in this class. Because I think understanding vectors is one of the most difficult things that you have to do in physics. So if y'all can get this down, I think this is going to be one of the biggest advantages you have of students in a normal semester, is they don't have time to really take, to really go about getting vectors, down and doing it slowly. So if you have any more questions, just continue to ask me in the lectures.